To win just as much as we do. Good football team that did a lot of good things Monday night. I know what the score said, but if you watch the game, you take a few turnovers away, and it's a totally different ball game. Stars, every week you start with the quarterback, and Russell Wilson's been a good quarterback for a long period of time. Make all the throws, mobile, smart. So they have a commitment to the run also. Good wide receivers on the defensive side of the football. It starts up front, as we say, too. And they have some defensive linemen that know how to rush the passer. So it'll be a big challenge for us. Whenever you go on the road for the first time, I know we went there in the preseason, but going on the road for the first time, especially in a hostile environment like Denver, it is a challenge. So take your questions. Practice today. Practice today is, it went about like you would expect a Wednesday practice to go in season, getting back into the flow of things after, a lot of snaps, of course, that we played Sunday. Injury-wise, we have a few guys that I think you know about most of the guys, injury-related that missed practice today, and Justin Britt missed today for personal reasons. So I'll take your question.
Well, you touched on, Russell, the challenges in game planning for
yes.
a quarterback like that.
Yeah, and it's been that way every time I've had an opportunity to go against him. Of course, we played him last year, and I say they're doing some similar things offensively with him. But as I mentioned, mobile, accurate thrower, smart decisions, all of that, that kind of opens everything else up.
Lovie, what's your experience with altitude, and do you talk about it?
Is it an issue out there, altitude? We're going to Colorado, then play the Broncos. A lot of people talk about if that changed. We played out there a few times, and no. This is what we ask guys to do each week. Get as much rest as possible, hydrate as much as you can, just the recovery that you normally go through.
Lovie, do you expect Justin Britt to be back Sunday?
Yes, I do. Again, through the course of a year, we're going to have players, maybe coaches that miss for personal reasons. So, but yes.
Coach, as a defensive coordinator, how do you talk to your two safeties who don't have a lot of experience to not get sucked up into that play action fake that Russell Wilson loves to do a lot? They pass a lot out of their run formation.
So you're coaching them up right now? You kind of on the play action. You've been telling them play action pass. Don't go for the play action, the run, play the pass. Yeah, we're going to tell them that. I think the guys have played enough football right now. They realize that. It's not like we're getting ready to play a team that's playing a new sport. So we'll be ready for all of that.
Is such a rarity?
Yes.
Ties are such a rarity in the NFL or anywhere really. Does it change the complexity of the week? Obviously you didn't lose, but you didn't do what you set out to do. So how's the feeling there?
No, it doesn't. The complexity of the week doesn't change whether you win, lose, or tie. You move on to the next opponent. You watch that video, critique everything that needs to be corrected, praise everything that you did well, and then you do move on. And for us, we moved on quickly, having an opportunity in an ideal world to see your next opponent play, which we were able to do with Monday Night Football. So who did we play last? Was it L.A.? Who did we play last? Seemed like, us. It's a long time ago, that last game we played. They all are back there together in that same box that we've left.
Lovie, is Rasheed's Green trending his return practice?
Yes, I like the way you asked that question. Yes, he is trending in the right direction. That's what the young folks, when things are trending, I'm a little older, so I'm not with it, whatever. He is trending the right way. Good practice today. We'll need him. When you play a quarterback like that, you need all hands on deck that can rush the passer. So hopefully Rasheed will be able to help us a little bit if we decide to let him go.
Going against the Broncos, last week, the first 3 quarters, you held them close to 232 yards. How do you continue that?
One more time, how many?
232 yards through the first 3 quarters.
I'm just, hadn't heard a whole lot of positive. That's pretty positive right there. Forgot all about that. Now, things like that, you do go back and think about the past a little bit on that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So how do you carry that, bottle that energy that you had through those 3 first quarters and carry that into Denver Broncos?
We try to be real as much as we talked about moving past the game, whatever happened in that game. So all those plays, there were a lot of good things that we did in that game, except for finish. So it doesn't matter really whether you win or you lose. We critique plays the same way. If they're positive, good, we praise that. If not, this is what we have to do to correct it. And the players into that too. And the first thing we do a Tuesday when the guys get here, when they get here for the first time, is we correct all things we did wrong. We have a walkthrough to correct those things and move on. So that's exactly where we are. And then guys just watching the video, they see. And that's why you can't wait to get back to practice, especially Wednesday's practice. Your little sore bumps and bruises, all of that.
Lovie, over your career, how have you seen players recover from Achilles injuries? You had two, Marlon, and O.J. Howard has played well. What are things that you've seen over the years that have helped him do that and evaluating himself from your perspective as a coach when you look at guys?
Well, I think it was just with where we are in society now, everything has changed. There's an upgrade with everything. There's a time when an injury like that may really be bad for your career. But nowadays, no matter what the injury is, guys seem like guys come back stronger than before. Excellent medical care, which we have, our sports performers, our medical staff, our doctors, all of that. So that's what I've seen. Most of the guys come back strong as ever, even with things that used to be major.
So in that, maybe 10, 15 years ago when you're evaluating a player to today and say, okay, this, you're noticing differences?
Yeah, and again, those kind of decisions, that's why it's a team. The medical staff, they evaluate it, and they tell us yes and no. And from what I've seen, most of the time is yes, this is what guys are doing now. There's a time you had an ACL injury, it might have been 2 years or so. Everything has gotten a lot better now.
Justin Britt said if there are communication errors within the offensive line, it starts with him because he's the voice of the O-line. What do you think about that coming from Justin?
Well, I think if there's those problems, it starts with the head coach first, offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, and then players. So all of us are going to, if there's bad communication, and that's something that in every game there's going to be a few plays like that. I've been doing it a while. I can't think of a perfect game where there wasn't something like that you need to correct. And as a center, things do go through him. Kristen Kirksey on the other side will tell you the same thing. There was some miscommunication that we had there. David's Mills will tell you the same thing. It's great when you don't win the game, and when you have a good team, everybody wants to say that it was their fault, and I needed to do this better, which you like, but it's so much more than just one guy and what one guy did on one play.
Can you talk about
Yes, Cam.
you said on Sunday, you get to give Damian more touches. How are you approaching that?
I'm saying the same thing right now. We need to get Damon more touches. So how, without, of course, giving the Broncos our total game plan, that's what we need to do. You look at the reps. That's why part of the evaluation is looking at those things too. You can get in a game and situations kind of dictate. You may have to lean a little bit, go in one direction that after you analyze it more, you wish you hadn't. But I just know this week we're going to try to get in more touches.
The secondary made a number of plays on Sunday. What did you see from them, and how much confidence does that give you?
You say the secondary?
Yes.
Yes.
How much confidence does that give you based on really good wide receiver tandem?
Well, what we saw first off, we have, Jonathan Owens has played some ball, but not a lot. He wasn't a full-time starter last year. Of course, we talked about Jalen Petrie and, of course, Derek Stingley, guys that haven't played an awful lot. And look at their first game. Like what they did. That's a starting spot. What they'll tell you, they're going to tell you all the things that they can, improve upon. And you won't, but each week is going to be, you're right, great receivers. Each week is going to be like that. There's great receivers. Another big challenge. And that would be the challenge going on the road for our guys. But I know they're eager to play. We talk a lot about taking the ball away. you can re-up the back seven a little bit when the only interception you have is coming from a defensive lineman. So they'll show up.
You got time for a few more.
Do you feel like production outside of Brandon Cooks, wide receivers, tight end, is that at all a concern, or are you all satisfied?
Oh, no, we're not satisfied with very little. But the production from Brandon Cooks was good. What O.J. Howard was able to do was good, but we need more, absolutely. You know, a lot of times we're on a 3-receiver set and a tight end, so there's more opportunities. But that goes along with things we need to improve upon the second game. We could talk about the running game. I'm going to start with it. And I know we've gone to work on all those, and we've identified things that we need to do differently this game.
I know how
The challenges of facing Russell Wilson. Is there anything that you can take from last year's game or throughout your career that can actually help you guys continue Wilson?
I'll just say anytime you play someone, you rely on all the information that you've gathered through the years. So yes, yes, and yes. Experience of being in that situation, of seeing him on the other side, game planning for him. There's a lot of things, no matter where you are, that people like to do. And the person, it doesn't change a lot. Maybe some of the calls have, but I see a similar offensive attack. It's what we played against the Seahawks last year. You know, nowadays, quarterbacks have a big say in what teams do, especially guys that, have been around the game for a while. So we'll rely upon it all. But the video, even if you don't know or have not played against him, you watch the video, you start getting a picture in your head pretty quick.
Coach, what does it say about Damian Pierce to be at such a young age, but young in his football game? And he said that on Sunday that Rex Burkhead playing, he learned a lot from being on the sidelines, and he could have taken it another way and been negative, not having a lot of touches, but that positivity that he had at the end of the game.
Well, I don't see, knowing Damon, that's the only way I would see him taking it is that, being a team member and a running back, our one running back is not going to get every carry, so we're going to play 2 guys. How many reps, of course, that's, we will have to analyze that. But that's how he is. I mean, he is a team player, and he's excited about week 2. And that's it. You leave what happened there. Like all players, we're all saying, I wish we had done a few things differently, but we get another chance for that. And we took a couple licks away from him last week. He'll be fresher as I see it. Look at the glass half full. How about Damon Pierce is going to be fresher this week because we didn't play him as much last? How about the glass being half full that way?
Lovie, kind of close the goal on Christie.
Kind of going on that with the glass half full, the offensive line did a really nice job containing both Yannick Ngakoue and Ikwuike in the first 3 quarters. When you look at this film and what you see from Brandon Gregory and Bradley Trout, how do you do the same?
Well, same. I mean, we have good players starting off that will be blocking them. They're great players also. But, each week you play, who the legitimate pass rushers are. Both of those guys you mentioned. One coming in, of course, Gregory coming in new, but they know how to rush on outside. But if you're one of the best offensive tackles around, you look forward. How do you get that reputation? Going against great players. Big challenge for our 2 tackles. It's worth watching, definitely. And I know we'll need to play, our best ball. And we did some good things this past week.
I know that Howard is a veteran, so he's played a lot of football, but were you impressed with the way he was able to come in here after being with the team maybe a week and contribute immediately?
Absolutely. It's one thing to have played a long time. When you come into a new system, there's a lot of things you have to learn. But O.J. jumped in right away. Remember the first, I talked to him the first night, we made the move. He said what he's going to do, can't wait to get in and get started, find out what his role will be. And I know as he started practicing, the guy can run, guy can catch. He showed that right away. And I think he got, 12 reps or so this past week. But we talk about more production. Tight end is always a position that goes unnoticed a little bit. And we feel like we have 3 guys that can play at that position.
OJ said that he had talked to some of his former teammates with the Bucs who had played for you. And
That's a long time ago I was there with the Bucs.
he got some good first impressions. I'm sure you have.
Well, I just know my time down there. In football, there's lifetime friends that you have coaching. and I definitely have some lifetime friends down there. And we talk about experience, and experience of playing against a Russell Wilson or somebody like that. You call upon it, but you use those experiences too. Even before you bring someone in, if there's that person has been somewhere where you know someone, you want to get their opinion on them. And everybody said the same thing about OJ. In Tampa, in Buffalo also, where we know people personally. And we're just glad he's with us and excited about what he can do after he's had, a few more practices with us.
Last one, DJ.
Obviously, Colts were a good team. You guys were a good team. You guys came out to the wire. How much confidence does that give you going against the Broncos, who are perceived to be another pretty good team? How much confidence do you going into that matchup?
Well, DJ, after you look at, all right, they came in here last year, they shut us out. So it has to give you confidence when it was a game. When we tied the game. We feel like we caught them. So that has to, you just start with that. And then from there, you acknowledge the good plays that you made. That has to, when you know that you can do it and you've done it, that has to give you more. And when you do still have an empty feeling, you just can't wait for the next game. And I think if you talk with Denver, they're going to say the same thing. Everybody's anxious for that second game, always, to see exactly where you are. And I think if we can clean up some things, that, we're going to like it. But if you look at our schedule, I think we're going to be saying that each week. There's a very good opponent coming up waiting for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Davis will be in shortly, guys.
Thanks. In the locker room.
Nope.
A lot of talent. They play really well together. A lot of their guys have played for multiple years together, so there's a lot of coordination and disguises and what they want to do. And I mean, a lot of their stuff, they're showing a quarter shell post or pre-snap, and then either stay in something similar or something will change post-snap. So we got to be really good in recognizing immediate post-snap what they're getting to, so we can go through our progressions and how we want to attack them on offense.
How much work goes into figuring out how to realize what they're in post? How much work goes into that to happen naturally?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, we talk about it in all of our reads in the playbook, really. A lot of it, as a quarterback, is really keying on two players, the boundary safety and the slot defender. So being able to see their immediate reaction post-snap kind of gives you a good feel of what the defense is in, along with some of the clues you're using with cadence and stuff pre-snap. So just being tuned into that and then knowing what play we're running on offense and how you need to react based on that. I mean, that's the things you got to be looking at.
Davis, you mentioned the other day that you feel like you're on the same page sometimes with wide receivers. Is that something that kind of comes up in a game? How have you identified that sense? How do you work on that?
Yeah, I mean, continue to build chemistry in all situations. We had a third down late in the game where me and Brandon were a little bit on a different page, and stuff like that will pop up. But, I mean, it's good that happens early in the season, so we're able to talk about it and correct it and make sure we're moving forward in the same direction, on the same page, and being efficient in that way.
After going back and watching the film, what corrections do you think that you need to make going into Denver this week?
Continue to stay efficient, get through my reads, be ready to step up in the pocket and maybe use my legs a little bit to help out the offensive line and open some guys up on the defense. I mean, you saw Monday night when Geno Smith stepped up in the pocket, some big things happened when the defense collapsed on him, like when he was a run threat. So add some stuff like that, because I did that, I mean, last season and was capable of doing that. But other than that, just stay efficient going through my stuff and letting our offense do its job as a whole, because we feel like when everybody's clicking on the same page, straining for a finish, then we can play against anybody.
Davis, the offensive line did a really nice job containing Yannick and Woody throughout the first 3 quarters. When you look back at the film and what you're looking at the film now from Monday night, what have you seen similarities between Brady Gregory and Bradley Chubb?
Yeah, I mean, both teams have really good pass rushers. Those guys are coming off the edge, firing off the edge, making plays. So, I mean, I feel like we have tackles and the guys on the edge who are going to be able to protect against that. We're confident versus anybody. They're going to do their job to game plan and study those guys, their pass rush moves and how they want to attack. And we'll be able to block them up and give me enough time in the pocket to make plays to those guys on the edges.
Davis, how much did you watch Russell Wilson over the years?
A little bit. I mean, I grew up an Atlanta fan on the East Coast, so you missed some of the Seattle games. But, I mean, he's been a big-name quarterback in the league for a while now, so there's obviously some time I got to see him.
What do you think was the key to Howard being able to come in and contribute immediately, and how valuable was it to have him in the game for you?
Extremely valuable. He came in, got to work immediately, early last week, really, and, I mean, knew he wasn't going to be in the whole offense, but those plays where we had him available, he was going to be a master at what he did. And, I mean, when he was in there, he stretched the field vertically and made really good plays. And, I mean, we're confident that he's going to keep doing that.
How do you prepare? Davis, can you talk about how it feels going from week 1 to week 2 being in your second year? They always say it's a big jump, but now that you've got 1 week under your belt, is there any difference? How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think what a lot of people talk about is the biggest jump from game to game is from week 1 to week 2. Week 1, you're back to live football, flying bullets again, and then week 2, you're able to kind of settle in there. You know what it's like already, and you're able to kick things off and get rolling again. So I'm excited to see the jump we're going to make as an offense and as a full team.
How do you prepare making throws in less ideal situations, mentally, physically? I mean, there are spots where you can step in and do everything you want, but how do you kind of prepare for situations like that?
I mean, it's mental. Know, like the back of your hand, your progressions and where you need to go with the ball in certain timings. Your feet will tell you, as a quarterback, just being trained in the system, progression-wise, your feet will tell you when you need to get off something or need to progress past something. And then other than that, I mean, we're trying to replicate pressure and guys and defenders rushing you throughout practice, so we're able to step up and really avoid the rush while staying in our timing and throw the receivers open.
As a quarterback, is there any adjustments that you have to make going to play in this type of altitude?
Not necessarily. Obviously, I mean, it probably affects everyone, but I mean, it doesn't change too much for anybody. Just be ready for it.
That second and third quarter, you were able to be really efficient, especially with both your touchdown passes.
Yeah, I mean, just continue to stay aggressive throughout the game. Start the first quarter a little faster. Put some stuff together. There were some third downs that we had opportunities to make big plays on and convert, and we just didn't do that early on in the game. And then started to pick it up second and third quarter, and then needed to just continue to stay aggressive in the fourth quarter, get through my progressions, and just make plays on the edge. And if we can do that for a whole game, I think the result's different. And I think if we do that this upcoming Sunday, we can come back with a win.
So
Two more.
Lovie has mentioned that he wants to get Ben Davis involved a little bit more, based on what you've seen throughout the camp season. How would that help?
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. Anytime when we can open up the running game and attack them on the ground, I mean, it opens up a lot in the pass game, but it also wears down their defense when we're consistently picking up 4 or 5 plus yards in the run game. That's huge for the offense, and it's huge for just the momentum of the game.
We've heard Lovie and Nicky even talk about how they value taking care of the ball. You talked about it too. In certain late game situations, how difficult is the line between wanting to be conservative and aggressive when it comes to making decisions?
Yeah, I mean, it's within the game, obviously. That's what we get paid to do. We get paid to kind of dance on that line, when to take a shot, when to be smart with the football. But, I mean, anytime we're talking about stuff like that, you're never exposing the football to the defense. You're always being smart in that regard, and the shots will come in with how we're calling the offense, how we're game planning against them throughout the week. So situationally, there will be times to take chances, but it's never blatantly exposing the football to the defense where, I mean, it's something that's not smart to do.
Davis, what are some ways that you're going to try to get Collins a little bit more?
Game plan stuff. I mean, he has routes. He has individual routes on the backside as that X receiver. Or if we see him matched up against somebody one-on-one, we trust that he's going to win. And then there's other stuff where he's just going to be built into a concept as one of the first really 1, 2, or 3 progressions. So there'll be organic ways he's going to get the ball and make big plays for us.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Thanks.
Brandon will be next.
Huh?
What concerns you about their defense?
No, as offense, we look at it as, what can we do and how detailed we can be, and we worry about the opponent, when it comes to game day.
Brandon, in terms of Justin Simmons, Beckett Haynes with personal
Yeah.
camp, what do you think of those guys?
Yeah, no, I mean, you talk about guys that's been playing at a high level for a while, and, Patrick coming into this league, playing at a high level early on, you look forward to those type of matchups, a great defense, but we got guys that can play too, and we look forward to the matchups.
After watching the film, how can you and Davis, it was some miscommunication probably in the first game, how can you two get on the same page?
Practice, and that's what we use in practice for, to be able to talk through some of those things, but also to be able to go out there running full speed and just being able to get on the same page.
Brandon, coming from a football family with Patrick Surtain, growing up in that background, I think that's helped him.
Oh, no question. No question. Anytime, you're around football your whole life and you see your family playing it, I think that's huge. You know what I mean? Hopefully that's my son one day and his brother, so no doubt.
And with those miscommunications, working on those in practice. Are those things that come up in the game that are like, okay, this is maybe something we didn't really realize might happen at this point?
Yeah, no question. I mean, obviously, you know, you try to practice all the looks that you can, but obviously we know when game day some things change up. So being able to just be on the same page and be able to think the same, you know, help us be able to execute some of those that we missed.
Brandon, does O.J. Howard, Brett Eberflus, does that open some things up for everybody?
No doubt. I mean, anytime you get a tight end that can go out there and make plays like the way that he did, you know, it helps the whole offense, you know, not just from a passing standpoint, but from a run game standpoint as well.
Brandon been asking people about the outfit.
Yeah.
Lovie's kind of like, well, we're going to do what we do. You're one of the guys that can take the top off
Yeah.
the defense. Does it affect you more?
No, you know, it's just one of the things like Lovie said, we're going to do what we do. I'm going to sleep with my nose covered tonight and breathe out my mouth, and hopefully that helps me get ready for it, no doubt.
Brandon, you get the breathe right?
Oh, I don't know about the breathe right. It's just plugging with some cotton old school. No, I'm just messing with y'all.
What is the difference that you've seen as far as Pep in his first game being the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, you know, I mean, first game I thought was great. I think at the end of the day, us as players got to be able to help, you know, execute. But, you know, obviously he's hard on himself, so he gets back to the drawing board. I mean, we just got to be able to execute those little things, those small details, and talk through them. And you see that sense of urgency from him today, which leads over to the offense itself.
You might have answered it a little bit there, but you know, in future games, you're probably gonna have some 2-minute late game and overtime situations where y'all are trying to get down as receivers.
Yeah.
What y'all take away and say, okay, this is how we can start moving the ball.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I said it earlier, just the little details. And I say that because that's what 2 minutes all about. You got to be your best when your best is required. And you know, some of those pre-snap penalties or misalignments, you know, we got to be better at to be able to help. You know, just keep the ball moving. But at the end of the day, being able to start with a positive play and keep that momentum going.
After the game, everybody wanted to take responsibility for the time. Everybody wanted to take responsibility for not being able to finish the game. What does that mean to you as a veteran in that locker room?
That's huge because every man is looking at themselves and asking themselves what could they have done better. And that's the type of attitude and mindset you want, not just from your coaches, but from your players as well. And I think we got that mindset as a team, and so I think that's going to help us, you know, going forward, no doubt.
Brandon, when you play in an outdoor environment and in the altitude cover, what goes into tracking the ball, and is there any differences like how you have to go through this?
You know, to be honest, I haven't thought about that. See ball, get ball. That's my mindset. Yeah. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Oh, sorry.
I just want that one question.
Yeah.
You know, Lovie talked about the importance of getting others involved outside of you.
Yeah.
Like where you are, but how important do you feel like that'll have to be?
Oh, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. You know, we got guys that can play all over the board. And, you know, the more guys that you can get involved, the better for your offense, no question. And I look forward to that because we got a lot of playmakers in our offense from wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. And so it's not all about me. And at the end of the day, I just want to win. So however we can do that, you know, that's what I want to do.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.